you love musicals, I think you're going to come love us too. They're very good actors and they're very experienced. And it's nice to see these actors grow and become these people because it doesn't happen overnight. The heartbeat of a musical is its music. And every time I get a piece of music, it's right on the emotional place where those characters need to sing. And it's very inspiring to me. Whether or not it's a Chinese story or it's a Western story, the same rules apply in terms of how do you make sure it's a new form of storytelling, which is a musical form. You can't do what you can do in those other mediums that you can do in a musical. We have to create that imagination on stage. And the writers have done an amazing job of getting the story from its source material. And it's a very different animal from the first time that you've read the script. And I always say it's the musical will tell me what it wants to be instead of me telling it. Especially musicals have the capacity to reach an audience on a very, very deep level, emotionally. And it really, it's powerful. I think it's something an audience will connect to, and it's something they don't get very often in theater. My experience with West Side Story really has been my education in how to direct a musical. We just see the perfect piece now, but I know there was a process to create that. I invite you to come experience this beautiful, tragic love story, which is Rouge the Musical. Hi, I'm Joey McKneely. I'm the director and choreographer of Rouge the Musical, and it's so great to say hi to Drama In and Out. Well, I think the most challenging aspect, just from a director's standpoint, is helping to create a musical out of something that was a famous film and also a famous novel. And so I don't really look at myself as a Western director, because what I'm trying to do is to master the structure and the storytelling of a musical. Whether or not it's a Chinese story or it's a Western story, the same rules apply in terms of how do you make sure that the dramatic structure is the strongest it can possibly be. I think the most challenging aspect is making sure that this story of Rouge becomes a new animal, because it's a new form of storytelling, which is a musical form, and it's not a film and it's not the novel. And I think it's very dangerous for anyone to expect to see the film on stage or the novel on stage, because you can't do what you can do in those other mediums that you can do in a musical. For instance, the novel involves the reader's imagination, and we don't have that. We have to create that imagination on stage. So that's a big challenge. And the novel is a lot of times in the writer's head. The story is being told from his point of view. Well, that's very difficult to do in a musical. From the film basically is a close-up of two people the entire time. So that's also a challenge. Well, it's not the film. It can't be the film because the film is rooted in reality, a very specific reality of these two people. But when you get on stage, I now have to broaden that story. And the writers have done an amazing job of taking the story from its source material and creating a bigger entity, which expands characters that didn't exist, expanding characters that did exist, and creating new opportunities for the existing characters to express themselves through song, through dance. And so that, I think, is the biggest challenge, is navigating all of those elements to make sure it's the strongest entertainment that it can be. Collaboration is so involved on so many different levels. And collaboration truly is the root of creation of a musical. If you do not collaborate between departments, writing, composing, set, if all of those departments are speaking with each other and collaborating, it's very difficult to present a cohesive storytelling. So, because every element has to be telling a story. And I think that's something that no one really teaches you until you start doing it and you exercise it and you understand why those details matter. What's been amazing is that each of my design team, the set design, the lighting, the costume design team, are so smart and clear on how to present their designs in a storytelling manner. What I try to do is then to orchestrate that to make sure that they're in harmony, they're in sync. It's been very easy to do that here because they're so good. The design team is so good. And the composer she's been a fantastic collaborator because we have talked about a lot of things. The heartbeat of a musical is its music. The book is the bones, but that heartbeat that makes you feel things, that music is really the center part. And she's been really collaborative in talking about this is what I think it needs. This is what I was feeling when I do the music. And every time I get a piece of music, it's right on the emotional place where those characters need to sing. And it's very inspiring to me because then I can do great staging. I can mine the depth of the emotion in it. I can create some really beautiful pictures on stage because I have the source material. And with the writers too, they wrote a script and they structured the songs, but they're only doing it in their little room by themselves. So now the composer has to take that and then make it into her own, and then I have to take it, and then I need. So it's like a lot of cooks that have a process of making that piece of bread, if I can describe it either way, and it's a very different animal from the first time that you've read the script. But with any musical, it needs to evolve. And I always say it's the musical will tell me what it wants to be instead of me telling it. Because I can easily force it to do things, but if it doesn't want to do that, it becomes painfully obvious. So the challenge is to listen to my collaborators, listen to their ideas, and then listen to my own ideas, and together we make a beautiful show. The most touching aspect of this love story is its tragic end. We have a scene in Act Two that's just a stunning example of how powerful theater can be. Because theater, especially musicals, have the capacity to reach an audience on a very, very deep level, emotionally. And between the writers, the composer, and the actors that are doing this, along with what I've been able to help them find, is such a tragic, beautiful, devastating, emotional end to their story. And it really, it's powerful. And that's what's, I think, is not only am I proud of it, um, I think it's something an audience will connect to. And it's something they don't get very often in theater. So I'm really looking forward to an audience experiencing that. I mean, like I mentioned before, collaboration is the cornerstone of musicals. You also have to collaborate with your actors. And I think it's with working with these actors, they're very good actors and they're very experienced. Even Jam, a lot of people think, well, he hasn't done musicals, but he's such a powerful force and he's so smart and he's so honest. So to see him open up as an actor in front of my eyes has been a wonderful experience to watch because he believes in what we're doing and he understands it. And along with the other actors, I collaborate them with the scenes because we have to find together what is the meaning of the scene? Where's the truth? Are these lines helping you? Are they hurting you? And so that's a collaborative effect. And what I enjoy about these actors is they're very smart too. And they go, if you want me to do this, this is getting in my way. So, or if you want, I think the character's trying to go to this place, but I'm having trouble getting there because I need more. to get there. You know, characters, humans, don't shift emotions like happy or sad. You know, they have a process of growth, a moment to moment. And these actors understand that. And so that's been really wonderful to, you know, to do this process with them, because the rehearsal room is a process. What you see, what we did 4 weeks ago is different from what we did 2 weeks ago, which is different what we did from yesterday, which is different what we're going to do from 3 days from now. And it's nice to see these actors grow and become these people, because it doesn't happen overnight. My experience with West Side Story really has been my education in how to direct a musical, because all the elements in West Side Story, in my viewpoint, are perfect. It's a masterpiece. So because of that, you learn why things work the way they do, so that you can apply those lessons when you get new material that is still struggling to find itself. Because the original writers of classics, they had their arguments. They had to figure out what worked and what didn't work. We just see the perfect piece now, but I know there was a process to create that. So that has taught me how to listen and understand what works, why it works, and how it works. To apply that to Chinese musicals, I've done a lot of original Chinese musicals here too. So it's also understanding what the storytelling elements are stronger in this society that are different from a Western society. And we have very different cultural things. You know, family is very strong here. Work ethic is very strong here. Pride, national pride is very strong. Whereas in a Western culture, there's an individuality that is strong, and there's a idealism is strong. And so it's making sure that you don't apply those rules to this sort of place. But when it comes to a musical, we have to share the same rules. The aspects of the storytelling is different, and how the audience perceives something is different. So working with the Chinese musicals here, the original Chinese musicals, I've been able to teach my collaborators and understand a little bit more of what they're trying to do, and they understand a little bit more what I'm trying to do. And together, I believe Rouge is an example of two worlds coming together, where it's not a Chinese musical, it's not a Western musical, it's just a great musical that can go anywhere. Because so many of the Chinese musicals are only made for the Chinese market, and if you're good, you should be able to go anywhere. To all the fans of drama in and out, I invite you to come experience this beautiful, tragic love story, which is Rouge the Musical. I think you're going to be taken on such a journey that you've never had before, and you will feel things that you never knew you could feel. So I do hope you come and experience and see the wonderful work all of these amazing musical theater actors are doing. And if you love musicals, I think you're going to come love us too.
花和黑夜